Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this series, you're going to see 25 days of trade analysis. I am calling it 25 days of Tradesmas. In this Tradesmas series, if you are going to be watching it, I highly suggest that you take the opportunity to be participating in the giveaway. I would love to give back to you guys in the YouTube world who have supported me and followed me. I am always very interactive in the trading floor community, but I know there's a ton of you who have followed me for a while who aren't in there, and I want to be able to give back to YouTube as well. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for all of your guys' support here on my YouTube channel, and I am wishing you all the warmest of holidays, whatever holiday it is that you celebrate. I personally celebrate Christmas, so therefore I am doing the 25 days of Tradesmas. But whatever your holiday season is, I wish you and your family and loved ones a very warm and happy holiday season. With that being said, I am doing the giveaway here on my channel. So for every day that I do one of the Tradesmas videos, if you do any sort of interaction, if you like, comment, or subscribe, you will earn an entry to be able to qualify at the end on the 25th day to be part of the drawing that I am holding. I will draw a winner for the giveaway. I will announce the winner on the 26th of December. The prize will be to win a yearly subscription to the trading floor. So if you guys are interested in it, make sure that you are doing the likes, subscribe, and comments. Obviously, you cannot resubscribe over and over again, but don't worry. You will get 3 credit points towards that, but then every day following it, as long as you leave a like and you leave a comment, you'll get 2 additional entries for each of those. In addition to my giveaway, if you guys love giveaways, we are doing one on the Trading Floor YouTube channel as well. It's the same thing over there in order to enter as well, though it is interaction. So if you like, comment, and subscribe over there with that channel, you are going to be entered into a drawing at the end on the 25th as well. We will draw a name for somebody to win a $1,000 cash prize. You do have to have PayPal to accept this prize, so make sure that you can accept PayPal if you're going to go over there and enter into it. But I think that's a really nice prize. I think most people this time of year would love to have $1,000 extra. So make sure that you guys are also checking out the Tradesmas that we are doing on the trading floor. And there are lots of styles of trading happening over there on their Tradesmas. You will see all of our live streamers and our staff submitting videos. So if breakout trading isn't really your thing, or maybe my style isn't your thing, no worries. Go check out the Trading Floor's YouTube and make sure you are subscribing, and commenting for an opportunity to win $1,000 cash prize at the end. Okay guys, let's get into the video, and happy holidays. Hello and welcome to day 10 of Tradesmas. Today's trade is a trade I like. I like this trade. I'm happy to finally have a trade that I'm excited to show you guys. I feel like I've been showing you some rough ones, but I'm trying to be truthful about it and show you guys the reality of it. These are real trades I took in the order that I took them. So anyhow, finally a trade that's nice and clean and shows you a solid breakout trade. So again, as a breakout trader, when I see really good breakout trades that are respect the rules, it always makes me feel this is the holy grail of what I'm looking for. All right, so we are here on NAS100 on the 1-minute time frame. This is a trade. I took this on November 3rd. And you guys can see that's this trade here on my weekly. So I was using a higher time frame bias. So what I had done was look at the 15-minute trend. And at the time that I was taking this trade, the market had been trending up. So you guys can actually see down here, there's super strong bullish candles. Prior to that, it had been just it literally was just breaking zones like crazy. Was just raging up, which is great to see. But I had to be a little bit more cautious with my take profit, and I really could have gotten a lot more out of this trade, but I had to be careful because it was already kind of an overextended move when you were looking at the higher time frames that hadn't had any sort of deeper retracement, and I wasn't trying to get stuck in something that was potentially already exhausted. So I wanted to just make sure that I was being careful with that. So that's a little tip. If you guys are on the 1-minute time frame or a 5-minute time frame, these smaller time frames, they can be a little bit mesmerizing. I want to say you almost get stuck in what's happening on those smaller time frames, so involved in it that you forget to look at the overall picture on a higher time frame. So try to stop yourself every now and then, or before even getting into the market for the day. Do a refresher or a reminder of the 15-minute or the 1 hour or even higher. And like, just take a step back before you even get in to look at the overall trend. Like, where is your bias at? Because that way, when you get it wrapped up in the 1 minute or the 5 minute, you're not like so confused as to where's going what, because it can definitely get a little bit like confusing or dazing at times, like where maybe you have a super strong push up, but then you see a nice strong move down and then another up, and like you're not really sure where you're at or what the market's doing. So my tip is just go up a higher time frame, zoom out a little bit, just look at the overall direction. Is the market going up or is the market going down? In this case, it's a very clear shot. It's been going up. Prior to me entering into this trade, though, it was still very clear it was going up. So with that being said, it was a little bit of an overextended move. I was a little bit more cautious with my take profit when I did do this trade, just so you guys understand where my head was at before I got into this trade. But there was nice bullish pressure for sure. The buyers had control. They were putting pressure for sure out there on the market. So it was definitely a bullish bias I had. I just wasn't sure how strong or for how long. Okay, I had my zone here. At the time this all happened over here, I knew that there was actual, buyer pressure, but I wasn't in the market yet. I didn't get into the market until actual indice open. On this day, I didn't actually know any of this was happening yet. I just came in and marked up my zone. So this nice strong volume candle pushed up into this zone, and then it created its little floor, which is your support. And then it created a little bit of a resistance area. So basically a small consolidation area occurred prior to the next breakup. So I love seeing this. I love seeing these little step patterns being made. It's very easy for my mind to identify that and to wait for the next breakout of it and continuation of the trend. So this is a classic break, retest, continuation type of trade. I did not wait for the retest, which you might have already read ahead of time on my screen, but I did cover my zone in case I did retest. So the way this worked was that I had my zone of consolidation. I knew I had a bullish bias. So once I saw my breakout, I did enter. Again, this smiley face was my upright smiley face, indicating that there is bullish momentum. However, that candle did not actually break my zone, and I stick to my rules, so I didn't get in early. I waited for the following candle to see if it would break. It looked super strong as well. It did break and close above the area that I wanted, and this I was comfortable with. So I did enter at that point. I was being a little more cautious, I will say. I was a little leery of whether we could be in liquidity, grabbing, or just what we were doing over here. I do believe, though, this was a liquidity grab. At the time, I believed it already was, and that this was the true break. What I was a little leery of at the time, and I did sit to watch to make sure it did go above it, was if it would actually break that area, or would it reject here and potentially go back and retrace. But I already had my bias. I already knew that the market was the volume was just so crazy for the bullish pressure. So I was pretty comfortable with this. But again, like I said, I did actually sit and watch this for a few minutes just to confirm that the market did actually push above and create a new higher high. And it did confirm an actual breakout. All right, so I just waited for the breakout to happen, confirmed it. I did get into the entry there at this point, though, and I was targeting about the top of the next zone. I did go a little more cautious. You can see this tiny little space between my previous zone that I had marked up. That was a market zone to the left, and then where I actually put my take profit. I wasn't 100% sure, like I said, with the amount of volume that had already been pushing the market up, that if it would continue to be so strong. So I tried to be a little more cautious with this, but it did end up working out in my favor anyhow. And in this trade, I did not wait for the retest. I had the breakout. It does come back to retest, so this is a classic retest. So there were other entries, so I did mark that as well to show you guys. So if you were waiting for the breakout, the retest, this smiley face here with this strong bullish candle, or even this smiley face here if you wanted to be more cautious with this bullish candle, both of these smiley faces would have been options for you to have a second or a third entry. So if you didn't get in on this one and you were a breakout and retest trader, you always wait for the retest, which is okay because that is the safer way to trade. That would have been this smiley face, would have been your entry with this candle. If you are, late to the game, I don't know, maybe you slept in that day or maybe you missed it and you were like, oh man, you still had another option here as well that still would have been safe for you to get into. So both of these are potential second or third entries for this entire move. I like to show that whenever I see them as options because I think that sometimes people get really hung up on my entries and don't realize like sometimes there is another option. Like it doesn't have to be my exact entry to make it right. There's always another potential. And both of these are potentials where you could have entered depending on when you were getting into the market. So I entered here, market does come up. At this point in time, I did not move my break even at this. I know I talk about this a lot, but I did not move my break even here. And that's because I never had any sort of retesting in this area. Like there wasn't even like a little tap or nothing. Like there's absolutely nothing. So I wasn't going to risk that. And I did want to hold for my take profit here. This is on a live account, just so you guys can see, like this is a live account. This is real money. And I was still pretty early in this account. So I wasn't negative on the account. I wasn't down on the account. There was no reason for me to like take profits earlier than I needed to here. And I didn't want to break my rules. Like that would be breaking my rules for me. And I don't like to do that, especially if there's no need on the account to do that. Like there was no rescuing this account. So there was no tests at all here. I did not care to move my break even yet. I wanted to see some sort of retest. Even if it was a tiny one, I would have been more comfortable with it, but there was none. So I waited to just let this whole thing play out. Finally down here, it does come back to retest. And I was comfortable with this. I know a lot of people probably would freak out here, but this is a very classic like breakout, retest your zone. So retesting this previous resistance area that is now going to become your new support area. And then you can see it does kind of dabble around there, which is a good sign, showing you that there is a little bit of support at that price point area. And then it does continue up. That was fine for me. After I saw this retest, and then I did give it a little bit just to make sure the volume was coming back. So this smiley face and this one. After I saw this smiley face and this bullish candle, that is when I did decide to move my stop loss to my break even, like slightly in profit. And at that point, I was smooth sailing. I didn't have to worry about it. It didn't come back and hit it or tap me out or anything like that. So this is a super clean trade. It was a very good like entry for me, followed my entry model. Only advice I would give is that I would suggest that if you are a newer trader and you like this breakout style trading, that you do potentially wait for the retest, or that you cover your stop loss like I do, where you cover your full zone. So that way, in case it does need to come back in to test, because you never know where it's going to test in this zone. It could test super deep if it needed to. You never know where it's going to test. If it does come back and retest, that way you're covered and you're safe. Typically, in my experience, it does usually just kind of come back to touch the breakout, the resistance that you broke out from. It usually just comes back to touch that area, form the support now. So your resistance now becomes your support. Like that's essentially your flip zones that you guys talk about in the SMC world. They're essentially just breakout and retest with supply and demand zones though. And I'm not minimizing it, so please don't come for me in the comments. I'm just trying to like relate it to something that maybe you guys have seen before or heard of. So that way you guys kind of have an idea of what I'm talking about. But basically like your zones that you're breaking out of, whether it's supply or demand, an actual zone, support and resistance, when you break out of them and it comes back to retest it, it then becomes your net, like resistance here, it becomes your support now. You don't need Happy Trail to trade this style. It's just, it happens to be like my extra confluence, and you guys don't need that. The price action analysis is what's key here, and I want you guys to focus on that. Like, don't worry about the cute little smiley faces. Also, somebody might ask, but ignore the ghost and the magnet. It's like, it's just a little taboo thing that I'll drop on there in my own personal trading that I think Jay and Bear have started, and I don't know, it's become a thing now. So the ghosts are supposed to scare the market away from your stop loss, and the magnet is supposed to draw it. And a couple of people do this sometimes in the community too, or like put different little emojis on their charts, and I always think it's so funny to see. So if you're somebody who does that, comment below and let me know what you put on yours, because I always think it's funny when people do like cute little charts and customize it. But yeah, Anyway, that's what those are. There's nothing fancy about them in case somebody asks. And if you are in the community and you're somebody who puts cute little things like this on your charts, definitely ping me with your charts because I love to see when people do like customized things like this. All right, you guys. So that is going to wrap up today's video. That was the trade here that we're looking at from the November 3rd. And it looks like, oh no, spoiler alert for tomorrow. It looks like we're going to be looking at another probably slightly in profit break-even trade. But you know what? That just goes to show you that it is November and the struggle starts to get real in November. And that is why I take off December, because the markets just get a little harder for me to trade with my personal style. So anyhow, you guys will probably see it in reverse order that these break-evens will start to happen less and less because we'll be working our way out of November and back into October and September. All right, so I will see you in tomorrow's video, everybody, and happy day 10.